Coming up next on Hooten's Arkansas football, highlights from the 8th week of the high school season, including undefeated Atkins against the Dardanelle Sand Lizards, a 5A South showdown between Benton and the Pine Bluff Zebras, and a 4A West dogfight between Morrilton and Greenwood. Plus, we'll take you down to Gillette to meet the Marine Scholar Athlete of the Week, and over to Oak Grove, where a 1,000-yard rusher is our Coleman Kid of the Week. With highlights of 23 games in the next 30 minutes, it's Arkansas high school football at its best, and it's only on Hooten's Arkansas football.
Let's take it to him!
You stuck it to him and you won it!
This is our time of the year.
Hello and welcome to Hooten's Arkansas football, the 8th week of the high school football season. We have highlights of about 23 games we're going to try to get in the next 30 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. We're just 2 more weeks now until playoff time, and every game is big. We're going to start with highlights from Class 5A. The Benton Panthers are trying to make the playoffs for the first time since 1997. Last night, a big game for the Panthers down at Pine Bluff, homecoming for the Zebras, and our Class 5A highlights are brought to you by State Farm. Pine Bluff had beaten Benton 11 straight times, so the Zebras made the Panthers their homecoming date last night, and here's why. It's Zebra senior Martell Mallett taking it 20 yards for the first score of the game, but Benton would answer. Justin Ray finds John Chris Roberts, tough catch, and we're tied at 7. Benton would keep firing again. Ray to Roberts, and it's 14-14. But Mallett would dominate with 3 touchdown runs and 180 yards before halftime, and Benton would try a fake extra point for 2 that failed in the final minutes, and Pine Bluff holds on to win its second straight game by 1 point. Final score in a shootout, the Zebras 35, Benton 34. 1, 2, 3. Undefeated Little Rock Central playing host to North Little Rock last night, and that's Central junior quarterback Clark Irwin making it happen with his legs. Taking it to the house, Central's up 7-0. North Little Rock would turn to William LaFear to get back in it after the long gain. LaFear gets in for the touchdown to tie it up at 7, but Little Rock Central would roll in the second half. Final score, Central 40, North Little Rock 17. The Little Rock Catholic Rockets trying to keep their faint playoff hopes alive last night against Little Rock McClellan, but McClellan would have nothing to do with it. On 4th and 1 late in the first half, Damian Dunning, he hits a wide open Courtney Trailer for the touchdown, and the McClellan Crimson Lions are playoff bound, while Catholic needs lots of help to make the postseason. Final score, McClellan 34, Catholic 7. The Bryant Hornets had lost 2 of their last 3 games, and Friday night they were tied with Little Rock Parkview heading into the 4th quarter. That's when quarterback Scott Peeler finds Richie Wood all alone. Nice catch into the end zone. That made it 28-21. Final score, Bryant 31, Parkview 21. From Little Rock to Fort Smith now, where the top-ranked Southside Rebels were playing host to Bentonville, and Southside's pass-catch combo was clicking. Quarterback John Thomas finds Slick Shelley for the touchdown. Those two would connect 8 times in the first half for 161 yards and a couple of scores. The Rebels were up 24-0 at halftime. It was 38-zip late when Bentonville gets on the board. Adam Clark is going to take Russell Partlow's screen pass 64 yards down the sideline to set the final score. Fort Smith Southside 38, Bentonville 7.
Makes it so much easier on your offense when you have a short field to work with most of the time, and that gives you an opportunity to put some points on the board. And I was pleased that we were able to do that offensively. And your defense puts you in a position, to field position wise, you got to take advantage of it.
Next week, number 1 Southside will take on number 2 Fayetteville for the West Conference Championship, because the Purple Dogs remained undefeated after winning Friday night at Rogers. Quarterback Woody Wilson passed for 232 yards, and Tristan Thomas ran for 2 Fayetteville scores. But the biggest thrill of the night was watching Wilson taking off out of the pocket and making something happen flying into the end zone on this run. That put Fayetteville up by 10. But Rogers quarterback Johnny Brewer helped to keep it close, passing for more than 220 yards and a couple of touchdowns, including this one to Jarrett Bond. That made it 20-17 midway through the third quarter, but Fayetteville would pull away late to secure home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs and set up the showdown with Southside. Final score, Fayetteville 43, Rogers 17. Down the road at Springdale, the Bulldogs wasted no time with winless Van Buren. First play of the game. Springdale quarterback Brandon Martinez goes up top for our man Brett Burrish, and it takes just 10 seconds for Springdale to cover 70 yards. It's 7-0. A little bit later, but still in the first quarter, Martinez finds Aaron Davis in the back of the end zone. It was 21-0 at this point, and in the second quarter, Springdale would make it 35-0 when Martinez throws it right at you, but Burrish is there to snatch it. Final score, Springdale 35, Van Buren 6. And here's a look at Hooten's Arkansas football Class 5A rankings. No changes in the top 5. Southside and Fayetteville will play for the 5A West title next week. Little Rock Central is going to win the Central Conference and probably face Springdale in the second round of the playoffs at Quigley Stadium. Cabot will play Jonesboro next Friday for the 5A East title. Conway's number 6, there's Russellville. The Cyclones likely headed to the winner of that Jonesboro-Cabot game in the first round. West Memphis moves up to number 9, and Camden Fairview is back in the top 10. The Cardinals will play Pine Bluff for the 5A South title next week. Bryant is number 16, followed by Bentonville. Lake Hamilton and Texarkana are still in the playoff hunt, and Searcy is likely headed for Little Rock Central in the first round.
Now, the United States Marines present the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
United States Marine Corps.
One wolf at Gillette High is howling with excellence. Staying busy, Daniel Smith is a 4.0 student and a member of the National Honor Society, but he finds time to get his athletics on. He plays baseball, basketball, and fortifies the fronts for the Wolves football squad.
Whether it's offense or defense, it just doesn't matter. Daniel just wants to line up and smack someone.
It just gets the whole team hyped up, and whenever you're getting 5-6 yards of drive or a time and everything, it just gets the whole team hyped up and makes you feel good as a lineman.
A congratulations shout out goes out to Daniel Smith, the deserving Marine Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Thank you, Joe, and congratulations to Daniel Smith from Gillette, our Marine Scholar Athlete of the Week. Coming up next, more of Hooten's Arkansas football. Highlights from Class 4A are straight ahead, including a big game up at Morrilton between the Devil Dogs and Greenwood. Class 4A highlights are next.
Brought to you by Sonic.
And we begin our Class 4A highlights with defending state champion Stuttgart visiting upset-minded Mills last night, and after nearly getting his head ripped off, Elric Robinson rips Mills with a long touchdown run, and that proved to be the difference in a close one. Mills botched the extra point snap, and Stuttgart holds on. Final score, Ricebirds 14, Mills 13. The Whitehall Bulldogs at North Pulaski last night trying to stay in the playoff hunt, but the Falcons were driving until quarterback Mitchell Rignas is intercepted by Whitehall's Ty Thornberry. That would eventually set up a Whitehall touchdown, and Corey Smith's 2-point conversion run gives the Bulldogs an 8-0 cushion, and they cruise from there, setting up a big game next week with Whitehall at Stuttgart. Final score, Whitehall 41, North Pulaski 24. The Hope Bobcats made the 2-hour drive to Little Rock Fair last night with a playoff berth looming for both teams. The Bobcats got off the bus throwing. David Wright hits Jermaine Rudd for the 27-yard touchdown. That put Hope up 7-0, but Fair rolled from there with 4 late touchdowns and wins it. Final score, War Eagles 28, Hope 13. The Morrilton Devil Dogs playing host to Greenwood in what was expected to be a 4A West shootout last night. Ironically, defensive plays like this one from Greenwood ruled the night. Hunter White with the big sack and strip for Greenwood. But watch this. Morrilton's Brandon Hammonds returns the favor. sack, and Greenwood quarterback Micah Fritchie for a 6-yard loss. Greenwood was up 22-13 late in the third quarter when quarterback Mark Kelly passes to Chris Lloyd, who takes it 40 yards for the touchdown, and the Devil Dogs were just getting warmed up. Still in the third quarter, Morrilton is loose again. This time, Gary Foster takes the handoff, 20 yards for the score. That put Morrilton up 26-22 after 3 quarters, but Greenwood scored late to win it. Final score, Greenwood 28, Morrilton 26. And here is a look at Hooten's Arkansas football Class 4A rankings. The Harrison Golden Goblins stay on top. Greenwood will play host to Harrison next week with the 4A West title on the line. Batesville's undefeated and ranked number 3 in the state. Wynn struggled last night against Marion, and the Yellow Jackets face Bologna and Batesville the next 2 weeks. Crosset is undefeated and should win the 4A Southeast. Robinson blasted Arkadelphia last night, and the Senators need just one more win to clinch the Southwest Conference title. There's the Rice Birds and Bologna. Sylvan Hills is number 9, and Whitehall is in the top 10. The Bulldogs play Stuttgart next week. The second 10 starts with Alma. The Airedales dropped to number 11 after losing to Greenbrier last night. Then it's Arkadelphia, Malvern, and Lakeside. Morrilton has lost 2 straight and might need to beat Greenbrier to get into the playoffs. Fair's number 17, then it's Paragould, Beebe, and Hope needs to win its next 2 to make the playoffs.
Arkansas football, brought to you by First Security Bancorp.
If we are a championship team, we're going to play big tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this is it. This is that game, and it's time to play it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get out there and play. Yeah!
Coach Charlie Sarles and the Atkins Red Devils looking to stay undefeated last night against the Dardanelle Sand Lizards. Dardanelle had beaten Atkins 3 years in a row and were looking to spoil senior night at Atkins. Whole lot of defense early in this one. Linebacker Daniel Hartley made plays on both sides all night for Atkins. Dardanelle did move the ball some. Senior Nate Kendrick gets loose for a 20-yard pickup, but that was about it for the Sand Lizards. Atkins finally got its passing game going. Brandon Horn hits Brad Roberts for 15 yards, getting Atkins down to the Dardanelle 23-yard line. And 4 plays later, junior tailback Chuck McCoy goes the final 5 yards for the only score Atkins would need last night. The Red Devils stay atop the 5 AAA. Final score, Atkins 20, Dardanelle 0. Pulaski Academy playing host to Mariana, and the Razzle Dazzle from the Bruins. Stephen Green to Adam Thrash to John Aaron Reese, and that would make it 6-0 earlier. But Green would fumble on the Bruins' next possession, and Mariana's Russell Gillett has it, taking it in for the touchdown. That tied it up at 6. But PA had too much of Thrash the rest of the night. The big guy completed 7 touchdown passes. Final score, PA 58, Mariana 26. Undefeated Central Arkansas Christian traveled to struggling England last night. England can't hold onto the ball, and the Mustangs make England pay. Sophomore Stephen Bachetti getting in on the action early in the second half. He put the Mustangs up 54-0, and CAC would ease up for the rest of the game. Final score, number 2 Mustangs 54, England 0. From the Delta to the mountains, up at West Fork, the Boonville Bearcats taking on the Tigers, and Boonville hit the ground running. Jeremy McDonald gets outside, races 30 yards for the touchdown. That made it 7-0. A little bit later, sophomore Daniel Shaw would cap Boonville's second drive with the short touchdown blast. The Bearcats blow away West Fork to stay in the 4 AAA playoff race. Final score, Boonville 41, West Fork 9. Staying in the 4 AAA, Greenland needed a win last night over Mansfield to keep its hopes of a home playoff game alive. Mansfield's Ronald Dooley gets loose early for a 23-yard gain, but the Green Swarm was active all night, led by seniors Brian Murray and Brian Wisloski. Wisloski would also pass for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns for Greenland. Final score, Greenland 18, Mansfield 14. Longtime Perryville Mustang assistants Mo and Furf in the house at Mayflower last night, looking for a little smackdown with the Eagles. But early on, it's Mayflower's quarterback, Tad Turner, going up top to buck credit, and Mayflower was up 7-0. A little bit later, after a Perryville turnover, Turner goes back to the air and finds Jared Rainey. That made it 14-0, and Mayflower wins a shootout. Final score, Eagles 71, Perryville 44. There are no changes in Hooten's Arkansas football Class 3A rankings. Prescott stays on top. Central Arkansas Christian can clinch its first conference title in school history next week with a win over DeWitt. Pulaski Academy's number 3. Star City is 8-0 for the first time in school history. Rivercrest is number 5, then it's the dangerous Lumberjacks, Newport, and Atkins. The Red Devils are also 8-0 and have won every conference game by at least 15 points. The Hillbillies are number 9, and Waldron will play host to Ozark next week for the 4 AAA conference title. Gosnell plays Rivercrest in 2 weeks for the 3 AAA title, and Pocahontas will play host to Newport next Friday for the 2 AAA title. Boonville's number 13. There's Ashdown and Prairie Grove. Shiloh Christian will probably finish second in the 1 AAA, and the Saints could have a nice playoff draw. The McGee Owls are number 17, followed by the Cardinals, the Pirates, and Oak Grove rounds out our top 20.
Now, Coleman Dairy presents the Coleman Kid of the Week.
The Oak Grove Hornets are headed to the playoffs for the 4th straight season, with junior standout Darren McFadden running wild. McFadden rushed for 859 yards as a sophomore last season and surpassed the 1,000-yard mark this year in last week's win over Mayflower. McFadden plays halfback, quarterback, and in the defensive secondary, where he has totaled close to 50 tackles and made this interception at Dardanelle. Darren McFadden, a two-way standout at Oak Grove, and our Coleman Kid of the Week.
That guy can break a big one on any play. Congratulations to Darren McFadden from Oak Grove, our Coleman Kid of the Week. Coming up next, more of Hooten's Arkansas football. Highlights from Class 2A are next.
Hey, listen to me. It's showtime, baby. Let's start out quick, loose and reckless. You hear me? Loose and reckless. Here we go. Pride on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Coach Hayden Gilder and Little Rock Christian getting our Class 2A highlights started. The Warriors starting the game on their own 6-yard line against Little Rock Episcopal, but the big pass play from Drew Johnson to James Brogdon gets the Warriors out of the hole, and a few plays later, it's Peter Billings barreling in to make it 7-0. Episcopal on its first offensive play fumbles, and sophomore two-way starter Ben Rainwater will recover for the Warriors, who go on to win it with ease. Final score, Little Rock Christian 35, Episcopal 0. The Hector Wildcats scored the big win over Danville last week, and trying to avoid a letdown Friday night at upset-minded Arkansas Baptist. Hector was up just 8-3 late in the second quarter when Chad Henderson's run to the 1-yard line sets up the score. It's Henderson plunging it in from there. That made it 14-3. Arkansas Baptist would try to answer in the final minute of the half. Rhett Hatcher would pass Baptist down the field, but Hector would block a field goal try to end the half, and the Wildcats are still undefeated. Final score, Hector 34, Arkansas Baptist 9. The Bigelow Panthers ran the old hook and ladder on Little Rock Lutheran last night, and sophomore Justin Hoy takes it for a big gain, but Bigelow couldn't score, and Lutheran would respond. Zach Rapier breaks free all the way down to the Bigelow 1-yard line, and that will set up the score from Willie Eustace. He's Lutheran's workhorse, but Bigelow would rally and bounce back from its disappointing loss at Marshall last week for its second victory of the season. Final score, Bigelow 26, Little Rock Lutheran 14. Mountainburg Dragons and Lavaca Golden Arrows playing last night with the playoff spot probably on the line. Lavaca driving but facing 4th and inches and looking for a first down on the keeper. It's Jeff Powers, the quarterback. He gets the first down, and that will set up Lavaca's first touchdown. Powers hands off to Casey Champion, and Champion dancing and prancing right into the end zone for a Lavaca touchdown, but Mountainburg would rally to win it. Final score, Dragons 30, Lavaca 15. The Elkins Elks coming off a heartbreaker at Charleston, playing host to hapless Hackett and handing it to senior Eric Short. And he's gone. 67 yards for the touchdown. Elkins looks primed for the playoffs and probably a couple of postseason wins this year. Hackett would cut Elkins' lead to 7-6 a little bit later with the pass from Dallas Quinalty to Kobe Moore, but that's as close as Hackett would get. Final score, Elkins 41,
Hackett 6. Ryan Barnett and number 16 P. Ridge were ready to get after Cedarville last night, and the wait was short. Barnett hits the hole, and he's gone. 81 yards for the touchdown. Barnett is just a junior, and he would finish with a couple of touchdowns on just 7 carries. His second touchdown, Barnett. He's going to go 45 yards to pay dirt at the battlefield. Now P. Ridge will finish with tough games on the road at Lavaca and Charleston. Final score from last night, Blackhawks 43, Cedarville 0. Top-ranked Charleston last night proud into Scarlet Stadium and did the hustle against Hartford. Drew Hill, 10-yard scamper. That put Charleston up 7-0. Charleston fans doing a little tailgating and enjoying this one, and Stephen Brown's interception for Charleston. Brown will juke and jive his way down to the 8-yard line. And 3 plays later, Zach Hoyt scores. That put Charleston up 14-0. Another Hartford turnover would lead to another Charleston score. Drew Hill, the standout junior, takes the touchdown pass 13 yards. It was 21-0 early. Final score, Charleston 42, Hartford 0. The top 5 teams in AA remain undefeated after 8 weeks and had a little trouble staying that way last night. Number 1, Charleston finishes the regular season with 2 games at home and should stay at home until the 3rd round or the semifinals of the playoffs. Junction City destroyed a solid Hampton team last night and continues to raise eyebrows even among skeptics. Maybe this is the year of the Dragon. Barton faces Harding Academy and Augusta the next 2 weeks. The Bears are trying to win their 16th conference title in the past 18 years. Hector will be the 4AA champion and could play host to Junction City in the 3rd round. A year ago, Junction City beat Hector down at Junction City 14-6 in the 2nd round. Danville holds at number 6 after winning the Battle of Yell County over feisty Ola last night. Then it's Bearden, Lafayette County, Elkins, and Hampton. Undefeated Bauxite starts off the second 10, followed by the Jesseville Lions. Gurdon is getting healthy again just in time for the playoffs. There is Augusta and Arkansas Baptist, followed by P. Ridge, Hughes, Mount Ida, Glen Rose, and the Cross County Thunderbirds, rounding out the top 20.
Thanks again for watching Hooten's Arkansas football tonight. We look forward to seeing you again next Saturday. We will have highlights of the 9th week from the high school football season, and we look forward to seeing you then right here on Hooten's Arkansas football.